an independent school for boys and girls aged 11 to 18 in the northwest of England.
Welcome to Life Wirral, an independent sports school providing a different type of individualised education.
Many of the children here are autistic or have ADHD. The school says it specialises in meeting a wide range of needs. Ofsted has rated it good.
Sport, health and wellbeing are a huge driver for our students at Life Wirral.
The school's promotional videos promise a caring and supportive environment, but we've been told it's anything but.
My name's Sue Peacock and I work as an independent SEND advocate. I've directly supported 2 children at the school and I was told how traumatised those children were because of those experiences.
Wirral Council funds places at the school. In February last year, Sue helped one of the pupils raise her concerns with the authority.
She stated, "I will never set foot in Life School again because of peer-on-peer abuse I witnessed. Teacher-on-student abuse, physical restraints, police style, lack of understanding about disabilities, staff saying incidents are not as bad as described."
The council says it investigated and spoke to children and parents. There were some concerns, but most gave positive reports about the school. But a year later, whistleblowers have told us serious concerns remain. So I'm going undercover to investigate. I tell the school I'm interested in getting into teaching. Hello, how are you? They offer me work experience, helping out with sporting activities. My immediate boss is Ollie, the head of sport. He represented Team GB at the 2016 Paralympics. I don't see much teaching going on. Instead, the children are regularly mocked.
You shout, non-stop.
Yeah,
You squeal. Don't know why, I don't get it.
That doesn't mean you screw.
And you smash your head on doors. And your feet go. What do you hear? That's because he wants to get into a door but he can't get through. So I'm getting over because you're insulting us.
Children with special educational needs sometimes have an Education, Health and Care Plan, or EHCP. It sets out the support they need. The number issued has more than doubled to nearly 600,000 in the last 9 years. The number of pupils with EHCPs in independent schools has risen by around 160% since 2015. I'm in the office with Head of Sport, Ollie, and the school's mental wellbeing coach, Dan.
I think teaching is so important. Yeah. It's so easy to teach kids shit. Yeah. Especially these kids because they're so deaf. Like it's not like anything intense, is it? Like stupid. All you gotta do is make it semi-fun. And they just listen.
Even in front of the children, the mental wellbeing coach doesn't hold back. I hear him insult a pupil with an offensive term, flid. I quickly switch on my camera to capture what happens next.
The meaning of the flip, Dan.
Okay, Sam, mate, you're pissing me off. Just get out there, turn on your laptop. I'm not really asked where you go.
Flip meaning, and I'll give it.
I don't even know what it means, so you just want to get daily.
Stupid. Just sound offensive to describe a student physically or the this person.
I asked Dan about it later.
That's all good flip. And I don't got this facts here. Can't go with that.
I don't even know what flip means.
You really thought I shouldn't really get all them but
The next day, I'm in the school kitchen and hear Dan being offensive about pupils again.
School full of retards, but not. You're gonna say yeah stuff. Like chill out.
Dame Christine Lenehan has worked with children with special educational needs for decades. She's agreed to look at some of my footage.
That's all good flip. And I don't got this facts here. Can't go with that.
No, it's just unacceptable, isn't it? You know, imagine if that was your child. Imagine if that's what you overheard about you. it wouldn't really make you feel good, would it? And actually, it would make you angrier with the world, when actually we're trying to make these children feel supported and calm and able to progress.
Mate, you're pissing me off. Just get out there, don't go on the laptop.
You've got to wonder, haven't you, why these people are teaching? You know, there are other jobs you can do. Why do you want to spend your time working with a group of young people who you have no compassion for?
It's the end of the day, and I'm sitting with mental wellbeing coach Dan and assistant sports coach Elliot in the school foyer. We're waiting for the last of the children to leave
See you later.
when they start speculating about a pupil's sexuality.
He said he's not gay, he's now gone up with 30% family.
He's gay.
70% cock.
He's gay. Anything like, you know.
Proper cake, and
When the boy is off sick, I hear Ollie use another extremely offensive homophobic term about him.
I thought you had tonsillitis.
This time in front of another pupil.
Symptoms of being a batty boy, eh?
When the boy's back in school, I even see staff taunting him to his face.
Your t-shirt? Come on, text me.
I'm on my way to meet the pupil's mum. It's going to be difficult, but I want to show her how her son's being treated.
It's lovely to meet you. Oh, you too, Sasha. Thank you for doing this.
Sarah agrees to watch some of the footage
70% cock.
and says her son is happy for her to talk to us about what's happened.
Anything like.
How dare they? It's really hard to watch. Yeah. Really hard. It is. You just don't expect that behaviour from staff, from anybody. You know, especially in a setting where you're around vulnerable children. You just don't expect to see that and hear that language. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusted that I've trusted that school with my son. And I fought for 18 months to get him somewhere which I thought was appropriate for him, where I was promised the world, and let down majorly.
Some of the sports staff use highly sexualised language, and they don't seem to care who they aim it at.
Hello, Ollie. Sasha's just gonna itself.
It's bad enough when they say this to me. I'm even more shocked when it's directed at pupils.
Get out of this school now.
Sket is a really sexist term, and it basically means a woman who sleeps around the members of staff are passing it off as banter, but it's just absolutely not. Like, it's just horrible bullying.
The school feels intimidating. As some pupils are about to be taken home in the minibus, I see one child being manhandled back into the building.
Two members of staff grabbed this kid and dragged him up the stairs into the hallway. This child was very heightened, kicking and, swearing and things like that.
It looks like a restraint. Children can be restrained to prevent violence or injury, using no more force than necessary. I didn't see what happened on the minibus, but the child is clearly distressed.
This young boy was sat in the chair and he was just sobbing. There was no effort to try and understand why he's being upset or why he's being angry at staff.
Dave, the behaviour mentor, doesn't seem to help. Another member of staff arrives and tries to calm the boy down. Later, she tells me she thinks her colleagues handled the situation badly.
It's a thing that all can do, but
is they get angry. They've got to get angry when the kids, so the kid gets frightened. What doesn't work? With these kids, they get more and more and more upset. Bullying, but maybe they don't mean it, but that's what the kids see.
They crowd round a child who's got sensory needs. And what you're seeing is staff who clearly are not trained effectively. You know, what they do is they make the situation worse rather than they make the situation better.
Lawyers for Dave, the behaviour mentor, say the child was escorted back to the school for his own safety. They say the child had attacked their client and he was stood in front of this pupil to prevent him running into a glass door. This is Sarah Cruelty, the head teacher. She also features in the school's promotional videos.
Most of my career I've been working with children and helping children, and it's something I've really enjoyed and get a lot of fulfilment out of.
The school she leads charges the local authority a minimum of £50,000 a year per pupil. After a month at the school, she invites me for a chat about how I'm getting on.
Oh, come in for a chat.
Sure.
She seems aware the way some of her staff behave winds pupils up.
I think you've got that lovely manner with the students that some of our staff can be a little bit aggy with them, you know, and get quite wound up themselves.
Yeah.
You remain really calm and deal with those situations, which is just key with these students.
Thanks for the chat. Appreciate it.
A few days later, I see Elliot, the assistant sports coach, grab a pupil's head and draw on his face. I'm really taken aback, but the head teacher doesn't appear bothered.
You can't go around and draw on children's faces. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's an adult assaulting a child with a head teacher grinning at it. Why is that appropriate? There's no respect for the young people. So I just think this environment is fundamentally unsafe.
I see lots of examples of bullying and intimidating body language. This is Elliot, the assistant sports coach, demonstrating his attitude to pupils, very nearly punching me in the face as he does it.
I've got mental issues.
Shut up, you little dog.
Hold close to my nose.
Come on.
I'm in a classroom with Dan, the mental wellbeing coach, when this happens.
Children. Come, he's finished. I'm done. He's finished. What's this one? Do you know what? What's he doing?
Dan knows what he's doing is wrong.
So is that how adults behave to young children? It shouldn't be, should it?
Elliot, the assistant sports coach, is covering an English lesson. Out of nowhere, he grabs a pupil who's working quietly.
That child is sat there with his headphones on doing what he's meant to do.
He wants to bring it me.
He looks like he gets some sort of perverse pleasure out of it, doesn't he? It's really dangerous. You can see him holding the child round his neck. It's a really, really unsafe position. It makes me feel sick. What you see is an adult enjoying power. I can see absolutely no reason for manhandling that child.
I hear about another pupil who doesn't come into school. Instead, 2 members of staff go to him. I'm told he gets just 2 hours of lessons 4 days a week. They're led by Paul Hamill. He's a sports coach and says he's a member of the senior leadership team. The cost to the local authority, £150,000 a year.
The local authority said we can't put him anywhere. So they wouldn't touch him, and they're like super high provision money, they wouldn't touch him.
He tells me the school's CEO, Alistair Savaramuto, was eager to take the pupil and the cash that came with him.
So Alistair went, I need to go to this business, Paul. He said, I need to go to this school and to do that. I need money.
We take the pupil to a local football pitch for a kick around. As we're packing up, with the pupil standing right next to us, Paul Hamill talks to him with utter contempt.
You're the best footballer in a disabled school. Well done, you. No, wait, that's like being a pirate in a blind school. One of them works. I'm king here.
The boys' grandparents, Rihanna and Phil, have also agreed to watch some of my footage.
You're the best footballer in a disabled school. Well done, you. That's like being a pirate in a blind school.
The only way he can feel good about himself is to bully and belittle and children. And he's got a serious problem. I think he's a disgusting human being.
Rihanna has looked after her grandson since he was 18 months old, so he calls her mum. The school should provide a nurturing, calm and safe environment for him. But Paul Hamill has described the child as a little serial killer.
Easy day, because you're going to it's all the job that I had a bit of stress. Why did you give me these, mate? Well, I'm over now, but thanks to
And he was nice to me. He was nice to me. After he's just said all that about a child. About a child.
Our child.
It gets worse. Paul tells me he once fantasised about how he would like to kill him, and the boy overheard.
Like, the worst thing I probably said and got away with, and I thought he'd gone, and he forgot something was on his way back to the place to stand. I'd love to drown him in the bath like a kid.
You like to what?
Love to drown him in the bath like a kid. I was going to stand, I was all out, mate, I was going, just the thought to squeeze the man, he scratched my arms, trying to wriggle out. And he was there. I went to help, please.
And it scares me.
Yeah.
It actually really scares me.
Paul Hamill says the boy once smashed up a classroom and threatened him. The man who should know how to deal with behaviour like this tells me he responded with violence.
Yeah, firm up one place. But on the paperwork, it was like, I guided him effectively. Unlike them. Like, I left on the other day, he shit himself.
Yes, that's really concerning.
Yeah.
Because he is a violent, aggressive man. He should not be around children.
But on the paperwork, it was like, I guided him effectively.
He knows what the rules are. You know this, I guided him effectively. He knows how to fill in the reports. And yet, by the way he talks, he knows absolutely that he's breaking all the rules. I'm hoping as a result of your filming, nobody will ever employ him in education again.
The school specialises in sports, so most days, pupils are taken to a nearby leisure centre. Today, the school's CEO, Alistair Savaramuto, is driving the minibus. He's a former professional rugby player and used to be chief executive of Bournemouth Football Club.
Not only do we want to deliver an education second to none, but give these children every opportunity to flourish and do the best they can. It's to prepare them for life and life after education.
On the 20-minute drive, I ask him about the school's funding.
So this is the SEND schools funded by local authorities, is that right?
All the children are funded here by EHCPs, Education and Healthcare Plans. So all our fees come from local government.
Since Live School opened in 2021, Wirral Council has paid it more than £2.2 million. It's no wonder the CEO wants to expand the Live School brand.
Have you got big plans for it, or
100 schools.
100 schools?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my plan is to make first. When you look at financial terms, first £1 billion educational provision in the country, £1 billion.
And he also has big plans for his head teacher, Sarah Quilty.
She's going to be the richest head in the country. Is she? Yeah, she's going to be so minted.
Thanks, Alistair.
Yeah, all right.
Inside the sports centre, Ollie, the head of sport, gets a child in a headlock. He drags him to the floor, holding him down by his neck. After the child gets up, Ollie mocks his reaction and then shoves him back down to the ground. The boy seems to be in pain and holds his ankle. Dan tells me he's worried it's broken. Luckily it's not, but if it had been, he says he'd help cover up what happened.
As well?
I've come to realise, at Life School, this kind of behaviour happens so often people see it as normal. For some staff, it's become a way to control the children.
Into being a bit of a bitch now, which is why I think he's going to stay behaving well.
What's going on in this school is really, really shocking. These vulnerable kids are meant to be coming to this school to get an education, and instead they're getting aggression, bullying, and even violence from the members of staff. Ollie, the head of sport, says the school is a stressful and a demanding environment, and that he's never harmed a student in any situation that has required physical intervention. Lawyers for Elliot, the assistant sports coach, say he denies threatening or harming any pupil physically. They say he accepts he drew on a pupil's face, denies it was an assault, and apologises unreservedly for any inappropriate behaviour. Dan, the mental well-being coach, says isolated comments in the staff room away from pupils were simply dark humour and a coping strategy. He says he's never had any malicious intent towards pupils, for whom he says he has a great deal of care. We wrote to Head of Operations Paul Hamill and Head Teacher Sarah Quilty. They didn't respond. Lawyers for the school's CEO, Alistair Savamuto, say Sarah Quilty did not see a member of staff draw on a pupil's face. After nearly 7 weeks undercover, it's my last day at the school. I arranged to meet Alistair Savamuto. There are very few rules about the qualifications you need to open a school like his. Here we go. He's at his office.
You know, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman. You know, I'm not a SEN specialist, I'm not a mental health specialist, I'm not a teacher, you know.
He tells me he used to be a special constable for Merseyside Police.
My nickname was a savage.
Savage.
Because I was the first in to all trouble.
In September last year, he was sacked for gross misconduct after failing to declare debts during police vetting. He also tells me he used a police-style restraint on a pupil who was lashing out. He says the child ignored a 10-second warning.
After 10 seconds, nailed him. I was straight in and he hit the floor faster than he could, like, because I just did one pressure point and he was gone.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
It's just on here, you just bring his arms and you lock his arms in, and once you've locked himself out, if I get you on the arm and lock you in,
yeah,
he hits the floor like that. Like that.
Lawyers for Alistair Savamuto say he denies ever using inappropriate force on or behaving aggressively towards a pupil. They say securing funding for teaching pupils off-site is not about growing the business, but specifically to meet students' educational development. They say staff are suitably trained and the school has an excellent reputation transforming pupils' educational experience. Alistair Savamuto says he doesn't condone the behaviour revealed by the programme, and 5 members of staff have been suspended and will face disciplinary action. I shared the results of our investigation with Special Educational Needs Advocate Sue Peacock.
Knowing now what has been happening since you raised your concerns, how do you feel?
I question whether I should have done more. To hear about the distress of the children, I'm just saddened and disappointed.
Following our investigation, Wirral Metropolitan Borough Council says the behaviours outlined by Panorama can only be described as truly appalling. It says the impact on the families of the children is devastating.
I do worry when I look at a system that seems to want to be in it with the goal of making money rather than investing for children. There are some really good schools in the private sector, but I'd far rather these children were in their local communities, in local community schools, getting the support they need.
During my time at the school, I saw some staff trying to do their best for pupils. But for the most part, I saw children being treated cruelly by the adults charged with taking care of them.
There's no excuse, there's no explanation. It's not just one person that's doing this. And it comes from Alistair. I think the school needs to be closed down.
Yeah.
I think people need to be held accountable.
Well, I think serious investigations need to happen. Certain people need to not be working around children, never mind vulnerable children. Something's got to be done, because for that to carry on, that's going to have damaging effects on the pupils at the school long term.
Wirral Council says it's investigating, and Merseyside Police has been alerted. The Department for Education says all pupils have now been removed from the school, and it's in contact with the council to make sure an alternative education is provided. It says it will take enforcement action, including permanent closure, should the school try to reopen.